Gonna try to do this without any errors this time. Let's see. Looks like it's working. We'll see. Hopefully the first person who comes in will let me know. If I'm really live or not. This is just a warm-up puzzle. This is not the main thing I'm going to be doing. We're going to do puzzles for a different book today. I'm going to be doing one second. Okay, so we're actually going to be doing a different book. We're going to be doing Woodpecker Method, so maybe I will jump into line for this one. Okay. Twitch app never knows when I'm live. Okay. Got it working now. And the idea here is that anyone who jumps in should feel free to suggest moves. I've already solved this book twice, and I've probably forgotten everything by now, but I'm definitely glad to see what you guys think. That's the point. So it's a tall game. Something's gonna get sacrificed. There's this alignment of the rook with the queen. That should be important. This bishop here. I think the only reason that bishop takes g6 might be a move with some hesitation is that queen takes c1 is possible. So I think evaluating the consequences of that makes the most sense. There's not really any other candidate move that exactly jumps out. I mean, knight f7 jumps out too, because if king f7, bishop g6 is way stronger. But they could play rook f7, so. I mean, 2 pawns and a rook for knight and bishop is not terrible. And at the end of the line, there's rook c7, it looks like. For example, like knight f7, rook f7, bishop g6, queen c1, bishop f7 in between, king f7, queen c1, rook c1 is forced, otherwise they're down a queen, rook c1. And in this position, we're threatening rook to c7. And it looks pretty tough to deal with. Maybe not impossible, but certainly seems unfriendly. So I guess I'll just look at something else now. There's also bishop g6, queen c1, and then some kind of awesome move like, I don't know, bishop h7. It somehow seems less clear though, like bishop g6, pawn g6. I'm sorry, bishop g6, queen c1, bishop h7. Maybe they would play like king g7. It just looks like we're hanging everything, maybe. There's also this thing where, like, if we give up the rook and then we give a check, they just lose the queen for 2 rooks. So there could be a big attack. Knight f7 seems really compelling to me, but I'm interested in knowing what any of our viewers have to say. Blitzical says knight h7. Knight h7 seems like real hope chess, right? Like, do you have any threat with knight h7? I don't really sense it. In fact, if you play knight h7, I think your knight's trapped, like after king g7. Well, there's still considerable time left. Did I make it so you could see the time bar? You know what? Pardon me for resizing things at this very moment. But there it is. The time bar. Dun dun dun. Well, I'm down to half time, and I'm tempted to just make a move. And that's the answer. It looks like in the game they played queen d6, and this is the line that I calculated. By the way, anyone who tuned in for my attempt at a stream earlier this week, it didn't go very well. I'm going to make a video about why, because I couldn't really find anything about it. I kind of just figured it out. So hopefully that'll help people down the line, but I didn't want to make the video before before figuring out for sure that it worked. But since you guys can see me, I guess it did work. Okay. This one looks like they have a trapped rook to me. But I don't know if I want to cash in for just an exchange like that. Let's see. 7 pawns each, so I don't know, maybe they have compensation. I was thinking bishop d7, and they could play knight e4. Oh, but then the rook is free because of knight f6. Well, bishop d7 seems pretty good then. Any other options? My esteemed viewers. Bishop d7 looks good. I mean, the bishop's hanging. It's kind of hard to argue with that. Do I want it? I think I still want it. I take, they take back. But the pawn probably... well, let's see. Then they could take on e4. Pawn take, bishop takes, pawn takes, knight e3, knight e4. This is how does black win here? I didn't see anything. Oh. You're right. That box is incorrect. Let me fix it. Hold on. I don't know why that box is stuck on another page, so I'm going to remove it. Sorry for acting like I've never used OBS before, but it's been a while. They've updated a bunch of times. Ah, dang it. Sorry, one sec. Whoop. It should start updating after I do this. Alright, sorry for the technical difficulties. But this is accurate. It wasn't that other thing. Ballistical wants to be mod on my Twitch. I mean, maybe we can talk about it. I can probably. Isn't there like a command where I can just mod you on the spot? If you can tell me what it is, I'll mod you. 'Cause I don't really know how to do it. It's a you teach me, I teach you kind of thing. Okay, this one. I guess the obvious thing is like queen h6, but then they could play queen b7 or queen a7. Is it as easy as doing like slash mod? Let me try. Slash mod. Alright, I modded you. Enjoy. Make sure you subscribe. Using your Twitch Prime or something. Okay. Anyway, enough of the tasteless plugs for people to subscribe. So anyway, h7 is very weak. I feel like that's important. I'd like to play e7, e8, but it's like maybe not meant to be. Like e7, they would probably play like rook f7. Maybe even rook f8. I mean e8. They got a bunch of moves to play there after e7, so I'm not super sure about it. Queen h6, I think they'll just play like queen a7. And what's the point then? Because I don't think after queen h6 we can make progress. Knight d5 does look pretty good at some point. But if they can just take it, it's actually quite risky. Like, let's say we play knight d5, and they could even play like rook d8, I think. No, probably they would take. It would be like knight d5, bishop takes, queen takes, rook d8. Maybe it's tricky. Well, after rook d8, maybe we could play e7. e7, rook takes d2, e8, queen. That's an attack, maybe. Actually, I don't feel that sure. Because you would have like queen e8, I'm sorry, queen e7, king g8, queen e6, king g7, but like what else? I don't know. Ballistical, I think you're just guessing moves. I think you need to analyze some moves. Chess isn't a guessing game that much. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not too much. Okay, so here's something. e7, rook f7, queen d8. That's refuted. So after e7, they have to play something on the 8th rank, like rook e8. That's something. Yeah, maybe e7, rook e8, knight d5. Threatening knight f6, which would win the rook and probably the game. After bishop d5, queen d5, king g7, I'm not sure about that. They take, king g7. Where's the win? You know what? Maybe it's easy. e7, rook e8, and then like queen h6 there. But they have rook e7, so I'm not sure. It would be nice if we could make them play king g7 and then play queen h6. There's also rook h7. Like, that might be something at some point. Like e7, rook e8, rook h7. How about that? I don't really feel it. I'm just maybe the only problem I have is with this line e7, rook e8, knight d5, bishop d5, queen d5, king g7 is that I just don't know what to do after king g7. It doesn't look like it's super winning. It would be winning if the rook was on a8, but it's not. It could be on like b8 or c8 or e8. Those are the only options though. I like e7 too. Like if I get low on time, I'm gonna play e7, but I just want to like see the end before playing it. Oh, I see it now. Pretty sure I see it. So let's say it's e7, rook e8, knight d5, bishop takes, queen takes, king g7, rook h7, king h7, queen f7. That looks pretty convincing. But like, where's the death blow? They have to go on h8 or h6. And the thing is, if you play like queen f8 check, they don't have to take it. e7 doesn't have the idea of queen h6 if they play rook f7. We would just play queen d8 and win. So it's not that. I mean, just because it has a bunch of ideas doesn't mean it's right. I think it's the best guess so far, but I'm not sure. Maybe queen h6 deserves more attention than it's gotten because they have to play like one of these moves. So queen h6, queen a7, something like that. e7, rook e8, queen h6. Rook takes e7 is another thing. There's also maybe like knight d5 followed by e7. Like knight d5, bishop takes, queen takes, king g7, e7, something like that. I'm going to play e7. Okay, now we can think about this. I think knight d5 is maybe the only move here, but just want to make sure. Alright, what else could this be? Like, knight d5 is my best guess right now. I think bishop takes is forced, so I guess I'll just examine that. I don't see any other real candidate moves, though. I guess it's just knight d5, bishop takes, queen takes, king g7. Rook takes h7, king takes h7, queen f7, maybe king h6. Oh, there's no bishop, so this is winning. Because the rook's hanging. I'm not sure if it's more precise to play one way or another way. I think I have to just take the rook. Alright, now they're threatening mate two ways, but we can protect the mate. ChessGainz, welcome, thank you. I've been gone for a while, right? I'm coming back acting like I don't even know how to do Twitch, how to do OBS. Alright, so what's the move here? I think maybe it's either queen h8 or queen f8. It just has to be one of these moves, pretty much. When I promote it, it guards E1. That's nice. So it's mostly like I have to guard either F1 or G1. Or make a space for myself. I think the way to make a space for myself is with Queen H8 check, King G5, H4, King G4, and E8 Queen. Because if they play Queen F1, I play King H2, Queen F4 check. Maybe it looks a little. It looks a little iffy. Queen H8, King G5, H4. Soon I'm gonna be Dr. Coach Robert, so you better watch out what you call me. Yeah, I mean, I never said I wasn't evil. I'm Dr. Coach Robert. I know it sounds evil, but I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can own it somehow. Do a little bit of this. I can get like a white cat. Always have a drink in my hand. I mean, that's already kind of true. All right, H4 feels a little bit dicey. Just trying to work this out. Yeah, you can finish it. Go for it. Hit me with it. But you gotta be right. I feel quite sussed about King G4. Like H4, King G4, E8, Queen. They would play Queen F1 check. King H2 is the only move. Queen F4. Oh, we could play King G1 in that position. That's easy. Because after Queen F4, what other checks do they have? They don't have anything. H4, King G4, Queen H6. Do we not get into a repetition? Hold on. H4, King G4, Queen H6, like this, right? This is what you want? This gives them a free move. Like they play Queen F1, or maybe they play Queen E1. Hold on. There's two checks. Like Queen E1 check, King H2 is the only move in either case. Queen E5 check, they would play. I would have to go back to G1 because G3 they'll just play Queen E2 check. I just don't think that's right. I think it's H4, King G4, E8 Queen. This protects E1, so they have to play Queen F1, King H2. Queen F4 check is the only check. And after King to G1, they can't play Queen F1. They have to play Queen C1. But after Queen C1, we play King F2. And if they play Queen C2, which is pretty much the only check, they also have King D2. We can play this queen back to E2. I think this was more accurate. Although, hey, probably to get to this point, it was a hard fight, so drawing is not the worst thing that could happen to a person. Yeah. Do they even cover it? No, this book doesn't even cover the analysis of their perpetuals, but at least they mention that there are checks. Okay, cool. Let's do the next one. I'm glad the scene is working. By the way, anyone who is watching this should definitely check out ChessGainz. The website has changed since the last time I was on here, so I need to double check and make sure that I'm auto-hosting ChessGainz. But yeah, I think he's still on Twitch scene. Little YouTube, little Twitch. Okay, queen's hanging, but that doesn't mean we can't give her up. As it is with writing, sometimes you have to give up your most precious work. All the things that you fought so hard for. Because there are better things. Also, for what it's worth, I made this thing in my blender that tastes just like Gligoric, but with no cancer in it, and then I froze it, and I don't know what it is anymore, and I've got it right here. So taking this knight is kind of the obvious move. But I think it's not that good. Like, they have 3 ways of capturing back. Just doesn't seem right, so what else could there be? Tallest king's always safer. See this guy? Doing good. Knight h6 is a check, just for the record. But after king h8, I'm not really seeing like what comes next. Ballistical, you could stream right now if you want to. Then whoever finishes first would have to raid the other person. Maybe when I finish, like right before I finish, you could start streaming and then I'll raid you. So I'll let you know, and you let me know when you're ready, and I'll do it. The command is like /raid, right? Yeah, I think ChessGainz is onto something. We have to wear like glasses that have like little spirally parts, so that our opponent like stares deep in our eyes and gets really confused, and after bishop e5, they get queen e5 in. That's definitely the move. If you could do it, you know, a little of this, a little you're getting sleepy. This would work pretty well, because if you do one of these and one of these, we get this 2-move double attack on the queen and the king, and it's just like Tsar Nicholas II. Not good. But they can take with the pawn. They can take with the rook. I feel like the discover attack on the rook on c8 has to be relevant someday. But the thing is, their rook is also involved. Oh, you know what? I see a problem with rook takes now. So if bishop takes, rook takes, knight h6, king h8, knight f7 check is a double attack. They have to play queen f7, then queen takes c8. So it's a double deflection. Can't get that at Walmart. So the next thing is what happens if f takes. So bishop takes, f takes. What's the story here? I mean, we got a free d-pawn, but that does not seem substantial. What's up with f takes e5? I mean, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as the old song goes. So if I get low on time, I'm playing bishop e5. I'm like a very slow old man at this point in my chess career. Keep switching around, doing all different stuff. It's tricky. I'm like really nearly convinced. I just don't see what's up with pawn takes pawn takes e5. If anybody sees it, just drop it in the chat. It's a-okay. I think it could just be pawn takes d5, but it just seems absurdly simple to win a pawn like that. Alright, time's kind of low. I don't want to bore everyone. Okay, so they actually went in for this problematic move, rook e5. Yeah, I think taking the pawn on d5 was kosher in that variation. So what we're going to see here is a deflection, and we win an exchange, if I'm not mistaken. Looking around, do I see anything better? Answer is no. I'm going to do this. Sick. That's what tactics look like. Good stuff. Alright, a little more tele action here. Looks like... Feels like love, but looks like rook takes f3. Rook takes f3, they'll probably do some counter tactic. So that's what's going on here. The idea with rook f3 is that if king f3 knight e5, you win a piece. I don't know why they wouldn't play f takes e5. I think they're just not happy to lose the d pawn. Maybe they want to play for compensation. It didn't explain all that. Yeah, these books not perfect sometimes. Rook takes f3, I think they'll play like rook c7 or something. It makes me feel unsure. If we could, like, I don't know, make them put their king on a dark square, that would be cool. Alright, Ballistical is an impatient Padawan. He's just guessing moves rapid fire. Rook d3, all that. I don't know. Rook d3 doesn't even have a threat, right? I think it's some way of justifying rook f3. Like rook f3, rook c7, and then what? That's the question. Oh, actually, maybe you're right. Maybe it's that simple. Well, let's check it out a little more closely. Maybe they have some other stuff here. Like rook takes f3. Feel distrustful. Rook d3, knight f4, rook d1. I mean, it smells right. Passes the smell test. Alright, I think I'm just thinking this book is going to be tough, and it's not tough. I just don't want to, like, relax and get it wrong. Like, this one looks like it's clearly bishop f7, but did I calculate it? No. Not yet. Let's find out. You were right, sir. Sometimes the tactics are easy. Making my own life complicated. Let's see. I think it's bishop f7, king f7, knight g5, king e8, and then advice, something here. Queen e6 check, king d8, knight f7 check, king c7. There's got to be counterplay, at least. I think it's good enough for me. I don't want to break my brain for something as small as this. The only thing maybe to check, like queen e6, knight e7, queen f7, is it winning? I'm pretty confident it is. Oh, our bishop's hanging too, so maybe we should pay attention. I wonder if knight e6 is kosher. wonder what's stronger. Yeah, I believe it, ChessGainz. Absolutely. Who knows who Tringov is, but this position is probably in some book besides this one. It's one of those. If you ever watch one of those like Russian books that are separated by themes, these guys would all be together. Bishop f7, bishop f7, bishop f7. I think you mean bishop e5 there. But I'm not that convinced by bishop e5. Oh, bishop e3. That move does look very good. Queen e6. But I was more concerned about knight e7. Are you concerned about that? Queen e6, knight e7. Maybe queen f7 is just like easy dubs. I don't know. Queen f7, king d8, knight e6. Okay, that's actually mate, so I'm pretty convinced. Let's see what the book says. It says he resigned due to king d8 tings. Knight f. Alright, it says knight f7, not bishop e3. I bet bishop e3 is winning though. It looks pretty spicy. Okay, how about this one? I can feel the chess coursing through my veins. After barely doing it for too long. This looks like another like Sackville type deal, but they have this bishop guarding f7. So what's it gonna be? Knight f7, bishop f7, like bishop e6 looks really tricky to play. It's just not that strong, maybe. And rook e6, maybe rook e6 is better. Because bishop e6 check. King f, maybe king h8, bishop takes c8. Looks very reasonable. I think my Discord link is out of date from Stream Elements, by the way. So if anyone wants to join the Discord, just message me, and I will send a link your way. Kind of want to play g4. G4, g5. But they could play g4, h6. Maybe not so good. But you could always like prepare it more. It just seems like maybe it's more complicated than necessary to play like g4, h6, f4 or something like that. And for what? It's a little ambiguous. Maybe you win a pawn or something. It's just not clear cut. I want something more clear cut. Knight g4 looks pretty good too. If they play h6, you could play, I guess, still knight f6, and you're just winning. I think that's pretty good. I was looking at counterplay with b4, but I don't think it really exists. You could always just play like c4. I'm going to try knight g4. Thanks for the suggestion. Oops. Got him. And after king f8, we play queen h8, king e7, queen takes g7, knight's hanging, rook takes e6 is in the air. I think it's pretty much winning. Okay, this one looks like a rook d7ville kind of thing. Like rook d7, bishop d7, queen d7, king f8, and then something happens. But that's a little wishy-washy for me. I also have some strong feelings about maybe rook b3. After rook b3, queen c7 is forced, because if you play queen a7 or what have you, then there's queen d6 check, king e8, and queen d8 mate. I guess you could play... No, queen a5 is just hanging, so not that. I'm not sure why you want to play e5, Mr. Bulletistical. I'm wondering what to do after rook b3, queen c7. If they don't have a move, then we win easily. Another position looks kind of tricky. Like rook b3, queen c7, queen b4 check might be something. c5, I don't know, maybe not. Queen c7 is a pretty solid move. If you have an idea behind e5, just explain it. I just don't know. Like, it's not Jeopardy. If you tell me a question, that's not necessarily the answer. Gotta explain a couple things. Our bishop's not really doing much, but I kind of feel like it's not going to. Bishop h5 might be a thing, though. Like, maybe bishop h5 and we just play queen d8. I mean, rook d8, maybe. And they still have queen c7. Yeah, e5, I'm not sure if they're really going to take it. Like, I mean, maybe. It seems a little bit logical. e5's kind of like a blitz move, right? You're like, I don't care if I have that pawn or not. You just kind of like throw it out there. But I'm not sure. Like, let's say you take and then take on f6. I don't doubt that this is, like, pretty good, but I also don't know if it's winning. e5 does seem like the best guess right now. Like, rook b3, queen c7 is too solid, so I kind of agree. You really think they can't do anything? They want to get their bishop out, so if you play e5, I'll probably play queen c7. If you take, I'll play king takes. And if you try like queen c3, I still have queen e5. Rook f3 might be good. Yeah, actually e5, bishop e6 is maybe better. I didn't want to weaken the light square so much. I was kind of going for like b5, c5, but that's pretty slow. You know, in that light, I feel pretty convinced that that's true. But is there like not a knockout blow? I mean, I guess. There's not even an explanation. It's just like no variations needed. Okay. We gave no variations. I guess we just got it right. We're like e5, nothing. Okay, what have we got? Damjanovic. Damjanovic's always getting bent over by Tal. Alright, what have we got here? There's a pin. I feel like a pin's major. If we take on a4, they will probably play rook a8. They probably won't actually take it back. Actually, bishop a4, rook a8, bishop b5. What's that? Bishop b5, rook a3, rook a3, rook a3, bishop c4. Maybe bishop a4 is good. It looks like he just wins a pawn, but does that matter in this position? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it looks like it matters. Endgame's not very good for black anyway. Is it just winning a pawn? The thing I just calculated was this. So if they take, we just take. And it's a pawn. So if they don't take, like if I go here and then they play these, I was thinking bishop b5. If they take with the bishop, we still win a pawn. Because we're up a knight and then we desperado the bishop. But if we take, they play this, we take here and they take on a3, we take back, threatening to take the rook on a8, they take, and then we can play bishop c4. And so what do we have at the end? We have 2 minor pieces against a rook, and we win a pawn in the process. That seems good, but like, could it be something else? Is there something better here? I think it's kind of urgent, because they might want to play c5. And if they play rook a8, there might not be any chance after this to win a pawn. So I feel kind of pressured to take on a4. Any other votes before I go ahead? Anybody? I'm just going to do it. Alright, so here, I guess I have no choice. I have to take. Okay. Solid tactic. This one really looks like it's going to be rook takes c4. Something of that ilk. I think white's very long plan is to play like f6, queen g5, queen h6, checkmate. But it's pretty long, so this is where we can go to Talsville with it. The issue, by the way, with pawn takes f5 is they can just take back because the g-pawn's pinned. And even if they didn't take back, I think they have really strong potential in that position. Like they could also just play knight f4 and enjoy. So probably that's not even right. That's why I didn't really mention it at all. I kind of want to sack something. Like, I want to play like rook takes knight e5, but I'm not sure it's working. Queen e5, pawn f5, and they just move again. It's not a big deal. But I want to take like every single one of these pawns. I think that would be good. Confusing positions are just fine by me. I am a-okay with confusing positions. Because, hey, I've got no strategy anyway, so. Can't get confused if you don't have a plan. Haha. Trick's on you. This rook on e8 is kind of just a dumpster fire. I feel like we need to do something about that. Wow, your message is purple now. That's something. Our problem is just that the pieces aren't active. So maybe instead of trying to win something, we should just be like defending and getting out. Yeah, ChessGainz. I thought of the same thing too. Like just without the exchange sack, right? Like we take, and then take again. So we get 2 pawns, right? They would probably play a move like queen f, maybe queen back to g3, which is threatening, I guess, rook f5. Not exactly though, because there's rook c4, and then rook e2. But hey, our pieces are a lot more active at that point. I think that's the crux of the issue. And the d6 pawn is hanging, so we could always get 3 pawns. I feel like the d6 pawn has to go down sometime. I'm just not sure if it's okay to let them play rook f5 with pressure on f7. Oh, rook e3 is right there. I feel fairly convinced now that this is good to go. They would have to play like maybe queen h2. They can't actually play rook f5. I'm gonna try it. Oh man, it was rook c4 after all. Alright, now what? Alright, Blistical, thanks for letting me know. I'll raid you. I kind of want to play knight e5 now, but... Alright, so if we play ef5, rook f5, are we doing okay? If knight takes, then rook takes, so I don't feel that confident. But we're just, like, down material in a position that's still bad, right? After e takes f5? I don't feel like the e-pawn is falling hard. I mean, you might be right, but... We do have 2 extra pawns, okay. I'm just going to accept that we have 2 pawns. You're right. Because the outside pass pawns should make it kind of come out alright. It was tough to choose between sacking the knight and sacking the exchange in that one. Because the rook was like way more active. Alright, good night, Ballistical. I'll raid you soon. Okay, what's going on here? Gligoric is playing black. Queen's hanging, everybody's hanging. Every piece on the board is hanging, so we just have to see how to take advantage of being on the move. I'm kind of tempted to play bishop g7. Like bishop g7, rook g7, queen g7, queen d5 check, queen f7, queen takes a8 check, king h7. How's that position? We're up an exchange still. And their king's a little weak. Yeah, ChessGainz. Same idea. Absolutely. Is there anything we're missing, though? I mean, bishop g7, knight d7, bishop e5 is... I think it's pretty obviously good. We're still up in exchange. We're collecting 2 pawns. Yeah, it should be good. I kind of agree. Is there anything here, though? Like, what if they desperado their queen? Like, bishop g7, queen takes g3. I guess we just play queen d5 in between, and then they look like really dumb, so... Taking the rook's the best, right? We could also take this pawn. But that's bad. Queen g6 we can't even take on c5 because of queen b1. So I think we have to just take this. They could take on c3 at the end, but I don't feel that worried, all things considered. Let's see, is there a perpetual? Like, if we move the rook, I was kind of thinking like maybe queen c3 we could play rook b8, but queen c1, king h2, queen f4. g3's bad. I think it's all bad. Actually, no, g3. They play queen f2, and we play queen g2. I'm not that confident it's winning, though. Like, let's say they take. They take, and then they play, like, a3. We, like, barely make it in time. They play a3, rook a8, oh, sorry, a2, and rook takes a6. Oh, no, the knight's guarding it. I'm sure there's something here. It's just not that easy. Maybe we just shouldn't sacrifice the f-pawn. Okay, well, that's something. Yeah, some of these puzzles end in odd positions, or they could. They just don't for some reason. All right, that knight looks trapped. The one on a5, I mean. It's a temporary kind of trap, though. You gotta do something about it. We could also deflect their queen. Like, if we wanted to be really basic about it, I don't know. This one, yeah, it is against Tal. Some of them are for the contrapoint. Usually, like, the champion wins the game anyway. Like, they miss the tactic, but they're in here anyway. Even bishop f3 gives white a good position here. So, like, where's the killer move? b4 gives white, like, a pleasant position, but I don't think it's winning. You know what, ChessGainz? I looked at b6, and I think you're right that that's the move. It's pretty good. You know, I remember this now from last time. It's definitely b6. It was the first move I thought of, but I just didn't say anything because I was like, why am I playing b6? It's to play queen c3. Nice. Okay, I think we should raid Tactitable or Ballistical. He changes his name like every week, so I get confused. Let me just check if he's streaming or if he had technical issues before we do the raid. So please stick around to support our new streamer person. All right, he's doing it, so we're gonna raid. Okay, so I think it's /raid, right? /raid Ballistical. I don't know. I'm not good with ages, but hey, let's hit him with the raid. Did I do it right? Is it slash? Can you guys confirm that? Alright, I feel like I spelled his name like liquor instead of ballistical. Ballistical. I think I did it right. Alright. Fire. Let's do the raid. Thank you. And thanks for tuning in.